This town needs an enema. Where does he get those wonderful toys? Tell me something, my friend. Ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? I always ask heaven all my pray. I just like the sound of it.
Hey, this is Jonathan.
And I'm Batman.
You're not.
Sorry, I had to do it. And this is Alan, and
You're
welcome
not.
to the Nerd and Me podcast. Well, you probably know what the show is about. We are doing Batman
Spider-Man.
89.
Oh,
Come on,
sorry.
stop that. All right, Jonathan, let's start this. Let's see.
Batman, 1989.
Tim Burton. Do you remember the trailer when it came out?
You know what I remember? I remember the poster, because I rewatched the trailer earlier today in preparation. Yes, wow. I do pre-prep.
That's wonderful.
And I'm looking at this thing, I don't remember this at all. But I remember when the poster started showing up and it was just a bat symbol. I remember how ridiculously giddy I got seeing that poster for the first time. Because, we were both comic book guys. So at the time, I was like, oh my God.
I do remember the trailer. Obviously it was on TV, and I don't remember in detail, but I do remember just watching the bat plane fly by, and it blew me away because I really wasn't too sure what to expect from this movie, and I really don't even remember my thoughts of them casting Michael Keaton either. Do you?
Yeah, I remember it was a big to-do. People were upset about it. I don't know that I was upset about it. I was more like, well, I do only know him as funny. He was mostly known as a comedic actor at the time. So great comedic actor. He had some great movies in the 80s.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought it was... I liked him a lot.
So you thought the casting was good, or you mean you liked him in his comedic movies?
Well, I like Michael Keaton. I did like Mr. Mom. I liked all those other comedies, Gung Ho, and I liked him. I just don't recall having making such a big deal about his casting though, and I think the trailer kind of sold me on it because you did see how dark it was. It didn't have a comedic feel to it, and I think maybe with kind of like who was the dude that played Kal-El in Superman in Superman the movie?
Kal-El?
I mean, sorry, Jor-El.
Christopher Reeve?
No, Jor-El.
Oh, Marlon Brando?
Yeah, and to see them cast Jack Nicholson almost gave it a little more legitimacy, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I never made that connection.
Well, it sounded like they needed... Oh, but if you look at the poster, it's Nicholson's name first before Keaton, so it almost seems like they had to do something like that to give it some, like I said, legitimacy, like they did with Marlon Brando.
Right, yeah, Nicholson was still is, I guess, a huge star, and pretty sure his name goes first on any movie he does. Yeah, I don't remember. I remember there was an uproar. I think I remember a newspaper article.
Oh, wow.
Why people hated it, but I think it was that they were worried it was going to be a comedy. I don't remember, because you got to remember this is the first time Batman went dark. I mean, especially to the general public, because the general public wasn't reading The Dark Knight Returns. Yeah. So this is about 3 years after The Dark Knight Returns. And, if you were a comic guy, you read The Dark Knight Returns, hopefully. And you might, and I think the comics themselves after Dark Knight Returns kind of slowly shifted toward the darker Batman. But the general public, they didn't. I think if you weren't a comic book reader, all you knew about Batman were the cartoons and the Adam West show, in which it was very comedic. Remember, it was a blue and gray costume.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Were you reading?
He's coming all in black.
Were you reading the comic books at this time?
I think I was, because I think I'm trying to remember. This is around the time they killed the second Robin, when they killed Jason Todd. It's all kind of melding together,
right?
But yeah, if it was around the same time they killed Jason Todd, then it was definitely a darker Batman.
Yeah, my memory of Batman is purely the 1966 Adam West, Batman. I mean, I read the comic books as a kid, but it was nice to see, again, the trailer and going back to even the movie poster, that it was definitely going to be a different feel. Because I could see the fear of casting Michael Keaton and thinking, oh, it's going to be Batman 66, versus the Tim Burton version,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, so I just looked it up. The story, Batman, A Death in the Family, which had the Joker killing the second Robin, Jason Todd, came out. It ran from December 88 to February 89.
Okay.
So it was 4 issues. It was 4 issues within the Batman title, and that was a dark. Especially for the 80s, that was a dark one. The Joker beats the crap out of Robin with a crowbar and then blows him up.
Right. So that comes out right before the movie.
Yeah, the last issue was 4/29, which was February of 89. You figure Batman was the summer of 89. So the movie was probably already filmed at that point.
No, okay, yeah. Well, I guess DC wanted to have a darker feel to it then, I guess.
Yep.
Okay.
But it's weird because he's still wearing the blue and gray Batman, the bluish cape and cowl and the gray suit.
Oh, you're talking about the comic
logo Batman. Yeah, I'm talking about in the comic book he was wearing that.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so Batman the movie, 1989, Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson. Do you remember your first thoughts about, after watching the movie theater?
Well, it was the first event movie I ever went to. I remember standing in line for Empire when I was a kid, so I don't know if that really hit me.
Yeah.
I thought you always had to stand in line for movies because I didn't go to movies a lot.
Okay.
But it was the first event one, and this is before you could pick your seats and things like that. So, I'm online with, I think I went with 5 guys from high school.
Right.
And we were super excited. We got, at the time I thought our seats were pretty crappy because we weren't, first in line, but we weren't all the way up close, so that was fine. And it was a packed theater, man. And when in the beginning, when it's the opening credits go through the stone chiseled bat symbol.
Oh yeah, right.
And you don't know what's happening. Yeah, you don't know what's happening until they pull away.
Yeah,
it's the bat symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody went nuts when they pulled away and saw the bat symbol.
Right.
And there was clapping and stuff like that. Yeah, so I loved it. My first thoughts coming out of it was I loved it. Just the whole film. I think they hit the Joker on the head, and I thought Keaton did a great job. You got everything you want. You got the Batwing, you got the Batmobile, you got the Bat gadgets,
and it looked beautiful too. Everything looked great.
It really did. And again, for the time, Tim Burton didn't really make a name of himself yet. He had done Beetlejuice. His biggest success, I think, was Beetlejuice.
Right.
Which, for me at the time, was a very odd movie. I don't know. Maybe I was too young to get all of it.
Uh-huh.
But I obviously grown to appreciate Beetlejuice as I've gotten older. But Batman was just incredible. I had never seen it.
Go ahead.
No, I'm done. I had never seen anything like it.
I remember. I clearly remember. Man, you know what? I use the word clearly a lot too. Oh, by the way, my first DVD was Blade. If you want to know what I'm talking about, listen to the previous episode. But it came to me.
Oh, that's hilarious. Wait, what did I text you about the? I texted you something about the previous. About the VCR? The name of the video store in my neighborhood before Blockbuster took over everything was Easy Video.
Okay.
Check our last episode.
There you go. If you live in South Jersey, if you remember that place. You'd appreciate
Central Jersey.
Oh, I'm sorry, Central Jersey. Okay, yeah, I really remember my feelings after watching Batman, and it's not saying I didn't like it, but I remember walking away thinking, "Holy crap, Jack Nicholson was good!" Almost to the point where I remember saying this to my friend. They should have called it Batman. They should have called this movie The Joker, because he was such a standout to me. I really remember, just thinking about the movie, how good the Joker was, and I liked it. Jack Nicholson's Joker was downright creepy, very, very creepy. The look, his laugh, it was. I took it as an homage to Cesar Romero's Joker. The look, even the laugh was very similar. But I really remember the Joker it just stood out to me more when I remember just leaving the movie theater and just turning to my friends and saying, man, they should call the movie The Joker. And then we got into this argument, oh, it was Batman, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm not saying I didn't like the movie. I'm just saying that Jack Nicholson he was so good in this film. Kind of like, what's his name in the Nolan movie? What's his name?
Heath Ledger. God, I'm terrible with names. Yeah, Heath Ledger's Joker was fantastic. Clearly, too. You are.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that was my first memory of the review of Batman. The first time I saw it was great movie, but Jack Nicholson just, to me, kind of overshadowed Michael Keaton's role in the movie. Yeah,
and I think that was done purposefully. Maybe not the overshadowing part, but I think they understood that
he was a bigger name.
Yeah, because you think about it, it's Joker's origin story. The movie, I was thinking about this earlier. The movie starts off with a fake out of the Bruce Wayne origin. If you knew Bruce Wayne's origin, you thought you were watching in the first 5 minutes. You thought you were watching his origin because it's a mother, a father, and a son coming out of a movie, right? And they get mugged. But it turns out to be like happening in real time, and Batman, gets the muggers. But up until that point, you think you're watching Bruce Wayne's origin.
That's a good point.
We don't really. I mean, they kind of flash back to it, but this is a Joker origin movie. You see exactly how the Joker came to be. You see, I don't know. I don't remember if they did in the comics at this point, but they gave the Joker a name. They not just the Joker, but they gave the mugger a name. And I could be wrong, but I think up to this point in the comics, the mugger never. I think he was called Joe Chill, if they ever did give him a name, and I don't know if he ever faced justice. Yeah, because I think there's a writer theory out there, and if I wrote comics, and I don't, and I probably never will, but I think not. I think the mugger not receiving justice, or at least Batman not knowing if that mugger received justice, is important to his story and him keeping on going. Oh, okay. Does that make sense?
You mean in comic book lore?
In comic book, well, yeah. But in this movie, they gave you a resolution and everything. They gave you the origin. They connected him to the murderer in the alley of his parents, and he faces death at the end because you don't see him again in any of the movies afterwards.
So, did you like, or do you like the comic book version of the origin of Joker, or do you like this movie version of their connection? I should say.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I liked it for the movie because it makes sense. In the comic, I don't know that they ever have they do have the Killing Joke in which Barbara Gordon gets shot and paralyzed. Yeah, and that's kind of an origin it was the origin of the Joker, and the shooting of Barbara Gordon went into regular continuity, but there's still question over whether or not the origin part of that story is part of comic continuity. And now there's this whole other thing where this whole time there have been 3 different Jokers, but that's a whole other podcast.
I wasn't reading.
It's good though. You should read DC Comics.
I wasn't reading the Batman comic books at the time, so for me this is seeing Jack Napier as the murderer of Batman's parents, it made more sense. Even today, it makes sense as to why Joker is the nemesis of Batman. There is a connection, this hateful connection of wanting to kill this guy, but obviously in comic books the Joker is still around and stuff, but for me it made sense to me, and especially for the movie's sake. It gave it a drive, versus just unnamed person who killed his parents, and I think that was a cool reveal. Back to what you said and I think getting back to what you said earlier, that laugh, that I don't know if it was done purposely, but Jack Nicholson's laugh in Joker totally reminded me of Cesar Romero. Yeah, right. And the thing is, you don't connect in any way that Joker to Cesar Romero's Joker. You know what I mean? Right. Like in terms of personality, but that laugh I think totally apes Cesar Romero, whether purposely or not. Yeah, and I always wondered, did Jack Nicholson actually do that laugh too? Because it's pretty spot on. Yeah, if he did it on purpose, it's a nice homage to Cesar Romero, I think. Yeah. Who else is in this movie? Kim Basinger. So, I was thinking, I know Kim Basinger, a bass singer. Right.
I was really I'd forgotten that Lando. His name's not Lando.
I knew you were going to say that.
Billy D. You knew I was going to call him Lando.
Yeah, I did.
It's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing.
Oh, I know you too well.
I'd forgotten that Billy D. Williams was in the movie, The Coolest Man in the Galaxy,
right?
And he was contracted as Harvey Dent that if they wind up doing a Two-Face villain in these movies, he was supposed to play Two-Face.
Oh. And
rumor is he got a nice little payout for not being Two-Face in Batman Forever.
Really? You know what? Batman Forever is Penguin Catwoman, right?
That's Returns.
Oh, Returns. Well, I think I would have liked to see Two-Face and Catwoman.
Val Kilmer Batman.
What was that? Oh, Val Kilmer Batman.
Batman Forever is the Val Kilmer Batman one, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have, and I was mad. I'm like, I would have liked to have seen Billy D as Two-Face. I don't think he would have played it over the top like Tommy Lee.
Right.
Jones did.
Yeah, I think it would have been pretty cool to see Billy D do that one, and especially in the second movie, in place of the Penguin. The Penguin was terrible. It was almost too jokey.
Well, look, I don't know if we're going to do a podcast on Batman Returns because it came out in the 90s, but I hated Batman Returns. I hated the Penguin. I thought some of the jokes were, and look, I was a teenage kid too, and I thought some of the jokes were too raunchy, too disgusting.
Yeah. See.
Anyway,
we needed Billy D.
So yeah, I mean, this movie had yeah, Billy D, smoothest man in the galaxy when we do something like that.
Well, it's a cool
speak
fact.
like that. So you have Kim Basinger, you have Jack Palance did a great, he's in it for like a hot second as the overboss.
You're right.
Before the Joker turns.
Yeah.
But he's just great. And I love after Joker kills him and he names Bob the Goon his number one man.
Right.
I like how he imitates Jack Palance.
And you are my number one.
And he goes, and he does the heavy breathing like Jack. He's like, you are my number one guy. And I mean, with the Joker, he's such great lines. He shoots Bob. And he goes, "God, fellas, I'm gonna need a moment alone." He shoots Bob. Bob the Goon.
Even when we did the trailer for this podcast, Jonathan was kind of giving me some lines to kind of mix in, and then Jonathan said, well, why don't you do any more Batman lines? And I said, there weren't any. I mean, he had that one cool line in the beginning, and
I know you did. I'm Batman. That's
about it. Okay. I didn't really have a lot of cool lines, but that's a really good point. This is really the origin story of the Joker, and it makes sense to me. Like I said, I could have, for me, this was the Joker movie, but I like Michael Keaton in this one. With some things I didn't like, though, and I remember watching it, I couldn't put my finger on it at the time as to how Batman would move, how he would fight, and it's because he couldn't move his freaking neck. I was wondering why. I was like, why is he like over moving his torso? And because the cowl and the cape and the bodysuit was like all one piece, from what I understand, right?
Right. Yeah, it's so funny because in there's a scene when he brings Vicky Vale back to the Batcave, and he's sitting down and she's standing over him, and he's at the back computer talking about stuff.
Oh, right.
And she starts leaning in to try to look at his face closer.
Yeah.
And he, like a normal person just turned his head to like catch her in the act. He has to turn. He swivels his whole torso.
He has to turn his whole body.
I'm like, it looks so ridiculous. I was like, because he catches her looking, but he turns his whole torso. I'm like, okay.
You know what?
And it's funny because I think it was in Batman. I think it was in Dark Knight when he says to Alfred, he goes, when he finally says, and when he's trying to make improvements to the suit, and he goes, "Can I have something where I can move my neck or something like that?" Does he say that?
Does he say that?
In Dark Knight, yeah, because remember, I think he says something like, can a dog bite through it or something? He goes, well, it'll stop a cat's claws or something like that.
Oh, really?
Huh. And he goes, yeah, I need somewhere I can turn my head or something.
In that scene you were talking about too, there's something because I did a rewatch recently. There's something about how Tim Burton filmed that particular scene. You know how like there's some scenes where Batman would just kind of sit up and you just see like a sliver of light crossing his eyes. Do you catch that one? And it kind of reminds me of back in the old school like horror movies with Dracula. You know how like you just see a sliver of light just crossing his eyes. Did you catch that? We'll catch it next time.
I didn't, but sure, okay.
All right.
Yeah, but it's funny because the newspaper man that teased, I forgot his name already, that teased the other newspaper guy about him. They call him like a vampire bat and stuff like that. So.
Oh, yeah, they do. That's true. Mm-hmm.
But you have to look at the influence of not just Dark Knight. I mean, a lot of people give a lot of credit to Dark Knight Returns, rightfully so, for who Batman is now and how he's portrayed. Because of what?
Because how dark it is?
Well, for kind of reimagining Batman into who he is, who he's been the past 30 years.
Oh, okay.
But I think a lot of credit has to also go to Tim Burton. Yes, and he might have used Dark Knight Returns as a template, but he added his own stuff to the mythos that became Batman. And when I look at the animated series, I think more of Tim Burton influence than I do Dark Knight Returns influence.
Oh my goodness! Totally. Even with the
right.
music score.
The music score, they ape his gothic take on Gotham City. Mm-hmm. The mixture of time period pieces. Like, you got to remember, the animated series uses police blimps. Like, who the heck uses police blimps anymore? Right. But the newer and older technology. So I think Tim Burton has a lot to do with that. And he should get not as much credit, but some credit for what the popular idea of what Batman is in the zeitgeist of people's minds right now.
Oh, he should get total credit. I mean, keep in mind, like, when you look at every Batman after this Michael Keaton Batman, just the sheer design of Batman, the all black look to it, carried on practically from all the films. Even George Clooney's nipples were, that outfit was like the Tim Burton. I can't believe I said that. The Tim Burton look.
I can't either.
Right, of Batman, and even the look of the Batmobile, how sleek it looked. Yeah, a lot of everything, most of the Batman cinematic universe, all comes back to this particular movie, I think.
Yeah. And, getting back to when we talked about an homage, if the laugh was an homage to Cesar Romero, I think when you first see when you first see the Batmobile, and he starts it up, the first shot goes to the rear jet and the fire, like from the TV show. Yeah, so that I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Huh. Because when you first, do you remember seeing the Batmobile for the first time on screen, like when you saw the movie?
Oh,
everybody was like, oh, like our whole theater went, oh man. Or, well, they probably cursed or something, but they're like, oh man. Right. And that thing looked awesome. The same thing with when the Batwing flew into the moon and made the symbol, the place went nuts.
That I definitely remember that. Yeah, when the Batplane hit the moon, my whole theater went bonkers. And I remember saying, like, what the heck? I was about to curse here, but what the heck? It's just, but it was cool. But I wasn't that pumped about it. But it was cool. Anyway.
Yeah. So it was, and it kind of, it was weird. We talked about in our weapons episode about how Blade kicked off the current popularity of comic book movies.
Yeah.
But you didn't see that happen with the Superman trilogy. Well, there were 4 of them, actually. You didn't really see that with Superman or even Batman because, people, I think they tried to make other comic book movies after Superman. They tried to make other comic book movies after Batman, but they weren't successful.
Right.
And I think part of that is the singular vision for Superman, Richard Donner, and for Batman, Tim Burton. We're not going to talk about all the Batmans. Now, 4, I can watch 3. I can watch Batman Forever. 4 is where I lost it. And I just think a lot of credit's got to be given to those directors, Richard Donner and Tim Burton, for what they were able to do, that they were able to really stand out for years as the comic book. Until Blade and X-Men, when we talked about comic book movies, you were talking about Batman, Batman Returns, Superman 2, right?
Right. Well, you got to throw in Christopher Nolan. Right? Christopher Nolan's Batman was ridiculous.
I mean up until Blade,
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're saying Blade kicked off this current kind of golden era of comic book movies.
Yes, that's true.
But why? Like, my question is, why Blade? Why did Superman do it? Why didn't Batman do it? And I think that's because of the people they put in charge to make those films. Do you see what I'm saying?
You mean like with George Clooney and Val Kilmer? You mean their versions of Batman?
Well, not just that. I'm just saying why no other superhero movie took off after the success of Superman or after the success of Batman.
Oh,
because it's almost 10. It's Superman 1 and 2 are about. I mean, Superman 1 and Batman 1, I guess we'll call it, are about 12 years apart.
Gotcha.
8, maybe 8, 10. Maybe
you're
11.
saying why didn't Batman like spur off other?
Why did they kick off Golden Age? Yeah, why did they kick off a Golden Age? Is what I'm saying.
Let me think about that. Well, I guess at the time, Wonder Woman was done. Well, I guess they could have done Wonder Woman. Well, you know.
But I'm crediting it to the directors, the people in charge.
Yeah, no, they did a good job. I mean, you can tell they had a passion for Superman and Batman. I mean, even when I think about those particular characters, I think Christopher Reeves. Yeah. That's Superman.
But Wonder Woman,
that's Batman.
You brought up Wonder Woman, right? She was successful on TV.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they make a good Wonder Woman movie back then? Why couldn't they make a good Spider-Man or Incredible Hulk? Now you can say special effects, whatever, but look, Batman was good and Superman was. I mean, the guy flies and shoots beams out of his eyes. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I guess you know what? If you really think about, so if Batman came out, what year was this again? 89. The 90s was a little bit different. The 90s had what's big in the 90s? Like more thrillers, more grit, I think. Die Hard, right? That was a 90s movie. Indiana Jones was, it was different.
Those are 80s movies, dude.
What was that?
Those are 80s movies.
Oh, are they really? Oh, yeah.
Die Hard and Indy.
Yeah, that's true. That is it. All right, never mind.
Dude, you got to remember, we started college in 1990, so you got to remember that.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I don't know why. Who knows? But I blame Warner Brothers. I blame them for everything.
Oh, I blame them for a lot.
Yeah. Well, thinking about that, Donner's Superman and Tim Burton's Batman, this is all Warner Brothers. They did a good job. They gave their superheroes justice. Why can't they? Well, and then again, Christopher Nolan's Batman was good, but it seems like they're struggling with all the other properties. Well, Wonder Woman was good. I got to take that back.
Well, again, you have to talk about who's running the show.
Right.
Now, I mean, a lot of people, including me, blame the current DC Universe crisis, pun intended, movie universe crisis, pun double intended, on Zack Snyder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That he started this with Man of Steel. He started this vision of what the cinematic universe is going to look like. And Patty Jenkins, who did Wonder Woman, now again, she was given kind of a break because her story takes place 100 years before Zack Snyder's first Man of Steel movie. So she could play around with the tone a little bit in terms of how dark it was going to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and plus, Wonder Woman's not a dark hero, and she stayed true to that. Wonder Woman's not a dark hero, and she stayed true to that. Where the world knows Superman's not a dark hero, and Snyder wanted to play with that concept, with that belief, and I think he's unsuccessful. I'm not saying he's wrong for trying it. I'm saying he was unsuccessful in doing it.
Okay, let's get back to Batman 89. So,
okay,
anything else you want to talk about for this particular movie?
Well, I love seeing the Bat gadgets, Batwing. I didn't like. I didn't like with the Batwing when he's collecting the balloons and he lets them go.
Yeah,
I'm like, why would he install a wire cutter on a jet? Like, when would that ever come in handy? And also,
you never know.
How does I know, but how does the Joker take him down with one shot from a revolver?
Okay, I'm glad you brought up that scene, because that's that one scene I think that bothered me a lot, because Batman is unloading machine guns, missiles, bombs, the works, and the Joker's still standing there. And you're right, he pulls out this ridiculous revolver and knocks him out of the sky. It was like all that firepower, and Batman did nothing. That's the one scene that kind of irked me a little bit, you know?
Yeah. And it's funny and I think this came out before The Crow, but the end scene in the bell tower kind of reminds me of the end scene in The Crow, so I don't know if that was done on purpose.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can
Well,
see
remember, the end of The Crow takes place in a church bell tower, too.
it. Right. Even the look of him falling also was kind of...
Yeah, so, I mean, The Crow probably came out afterwards, which is... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. So maybe that was their homage.
Okay. That's nice. Rewatchability. How many batarangs do you give this guy?
Out of what?
5.
For rewatchability?
Yeah.
I'll give it a 3.
Let's take that
I'll
back.
give it a 3.
3. Yeah, I give it a 3 too. 3. Would you?
Yeah, it's definitely rewatchable. I'll tell you what, it's not cringeworthy. There's a lot of 80s movies that I loved, and if I watch now, I'm like, oh Lord, what did I see in this movie? You know, it's definitely not one of those.
I do remember though, because my daughter watched it for the first time, really, truly recently as well, and I remember her, she was just telling me like a lot of these scenes were actually scary to her. Like covering her eyes, and I'm thinking, wow, I think I felt the same way too. Like with the boss's mistress, whatever, how her face was burned, or when the Joker finally reveals, when the Joker, when Vicky Vale throws the water on his face and the makeup kind of comes off. I remember back then,
and he's acting like he's burned or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that scene was kind of creepy too.
And he kills a lot of people in that. I mean, I assumed all the people in the museum were killed because he used gas, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so it's rewatchable. It doesn't. I mean, what you said 3 also.
I give it 3. Rewatching it again, I actually enjoyed it, and it also reminded me how much I love the Batmobile. I like the outfit, the things I remember I kind of like joked about back then. I kind of looked at today. Again, he can't move his neck. The fighting styles are kind of like cheesy, but it worked for its time. It worked. Today it worked.
Right.
If you're going to compare it to Christopher Nolan's Batman, it's just a different vision. That's all. But I enjoyed it, and I like Michael Keaton too. I liked his portrayal of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he was very good as Bruce Wayne. I have no, especially. Looking back over what he's done in the past 30 years, dramatically, you're like we were foolish to ever question it.
Yeah.
Another little tidbit I didn't like was, how come all of the Joker's goons have guns except for the Asian guy? Why does he got to have the swords?
Oh, it's so funny you say that. So that scene where the Asian guy comes out, and then I go, oh, here we go, Asian guy with swords and he knows karate. And then my daughter says,
right.
Yeah, so?
Well, you're an Asian guy, you know karate, and you own a sword, so...
Right. So she said, yes. I'm like, yeah, good point.
Way to break the stereotype, Alan.
Anyway.
Yeah, I was just like... But, I had something else I forgot. Joker... All right, whatever. So that's what I'm asking you. If we didn't have a better Batman movie to watch, or a better Batman trilogy to watch nowadays, meaning the Dark Knight trilogy,
okay,
would you give this rewatchable a 5? Because if I'm going to watch a Batman movie, it's probably going to be one of the Dark Knight movies now, to be honest with you.
Ooh, okay. I'll tell you this. I really like the Christopher Nolan movies. It definitely gave it like a real life feel to it. I do like the second one better. I haven't really rewatched the first one, and I didn't care too much for Bane. So trilogy-wise, yeah, I didn't like Bane character in that one, and I really love Heath Ledger's Joker. So that second one is a standout for me of all of them, and that one had a lot of stakes too. Remember at the end of the movie where the choose between which boat to explode and all that stuff. I remember
that was
thinking,
great. Yeah,
holy crap, this is so good. So trilogy. So Keaton only did the first 2, and then it went on to Val Kilmer for 1. I don't know.
And then George Clooney.
And then George Clooney. Yeah, I really don't think about Batman as a trilogy. I always think of Keaton's. I think about who played the Batman. Keaton's version, Kilmer's version, Clooney's version, and that's it. I don't really think of it as one unit.
Well, how about Batman 1 or Batman Begins? There's a poll you can put up.
Ooh.
On Instagram.
Yeah. Oh man.
Just those 2 movies. Just do the first Batman's head to head.
Wow.
But what I'm saying is for me, the rewatchable would be a 5 if there wasn't a better Batman movie out there. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I'm in the mood for a Batman movie, it's going to be one of Christopher Nolan's movies usually.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like it. No, good point. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, man, I do poop on the DC cinematic universe, but I'm real curious to see a standalone Affleck Batman movie. I don't know if we'll ever get that, but I'm curious because I kind of liked him in as a Batman. I don't know how his Bruce Wayne's going to be. His Bruce Wayne's all right that I've seen so far, but I don't hate Batfleck. Let's put it that way.
I think the hard thing with Ben Affleck's Batman, I should say, is that it's a Batman that's he's a future Batman. He's a seasoned Batman. He's supposed to be like a Batman that's kind of past his prime, right? Yeah. So to do a standalone, would you go younger Bruce Wayne, or would you keep going on with his past his prime Batman? So it's I'm torn.
Well, I don't know. Maybe not a younger Bruce Wayne, but maybe a pre-Superman comes out into the world Bruce Wayne.
I guess so.
And maybe before apparently the Joker kills one of his Robins, Bruce Wayne.
Nah, I'm good. I'm okay without a Ben Affleck Batman, only because the Christopher Nolan's Batman's, Christian Bale's Batman, that stuff was good. That was good stuff. Really, really good stuff. So it satisfies me. Let's put it that way.
And we're fortunate that now, because of the golden age of comic movies, we're getting really great actors for some of these roles. I mean, I just saw Christian Bale in his recent movie Hostiles. Yeah. And he's just fantastic. I watch anything this guy does. He's just a fantastic actor. Yeah. He really is. And then, you go along with that with Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. in the Marvel movies. Right. I mean, they're getting really good actors for these roles now.
Oh,
I mean, Michael Keaton
people.
was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Michael Keaton was a weird choice at the time. Christopher Reeve was an unknown, so now you're getting names with these heroes, and they're legit actors. Not that they're known legit actors. Let's say.
I'd be okay with a Superman reboot. I'm not crazy about Henry Cavill, whatever his name is.
Can I tell you? I feel like Henry Cavill has a great Superman / Clark Kent inside him if he got the right script. Yeah, that's what I think.
Right director too. Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think he could pull it off if he had the right those two things.
No, you're right. I see it. I look at him and he wants it to happen because it looks like he enjoys playing this character too. It's just that he's just you got the director, you got the writing, and that's all you can do. You just got to show up and act. But it seems like he enjoys doing what he's doing. So I'll give him a pass. It's definitely it's no knock on him. I mean, he has a look. Right. He has the great persona of doing Clark Kent and Superman. It's just, and unfortunately, it's not mixing. The right team isn't involved to make it happen. That's all. So
makes sense.
Okay, let's see. Right. Anything else? Well, I got some.
No, just the intro of the bat.
What?
Just the intro of the bat signal was awesome at the end of the movie. That's all. He gave us a signal. That's what the mayor or whoever says, the commissioner says. He gave us a signal.
Yeah. The CGI was good for its time, but when you watch it today, it looks like it was like a cartoon, like his cape.
Oh, that bat signal was animated. It wasn't CGI, dude. Yeah. I think that was totally animated. I know the bat signal was animated.
Yeah.
And the green gas coming out of the balloons was animated too.
Yeah, you can tell. But anyway, like I said, good for its time. Good for its time.
Yep.
Okay, so I actually did some polls on Instagram. I asked people there which was their best Batmobile, their favorite. We had the Batman of 66 versus the Batman of 89. Guess which one won?
I don't know, man. That 66 Batmobile is awesome. I'm going to say that one.
It was close. 47% with the old one, 53% to the new one. I was torn in this one too, but a long time ago, MTV was having this contest where you had to call in to win the Batmobile, the new one, right? The 89 Batmobile, but they said you'd win the Batmobile, but there was no engine on it. It was like 50 cents a call, and I called. I remember the first time I called, I was scared. My mom's getting mad at me. I said, screw it, I'll call again, and I did. I must have called like 10 times, and then a month later, my mom's, did you call? What were you doing? 50 cents a call. I'm like, what was for the Batmobile? So, no, I didn't win, but I did call in, and I was definitely afraid making those phone calls. Okay, another poll I did was...
You owed your mom $5.
Yeah, I did. The other poll I did was who was a better Bruce Wayne? Not Batman, but who was a better Bruce Wayne? And I did...
you made that clear in the poll?
I did. It says here, who's the better Bruce Wayne? Right? There we go. So we got Adam West versus Michael Keaton. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to say Keaton because they chose the newer Batmobile, so I'll say Keaton.
Okay, 33% Adam West and 67% Michael Keaton. And then we go to George Clooney versus Val Kilmer. Again, who played a better Bruce Wayne? Bruce Wayne.
Oh, Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, Bruce Wayne.
I was to go. I think Clooney has the look better, but maybe Kilmer won because his movie was slightly better than Clooney's.
38%. Clooney. 38% Clooney.
Said what?
62% Kilmer.
He was blonde. How could you know what? I can't with your listeners, with your followers.
Okay, who played Bruce Wayne best, Bale or Ben Affleck?
Bale.
Yeah, 89% and 11% for Ben. So then I put the two together. Bale versus Keaton. Better Bruce Wayne. It was a Bruce Wayne showdown.
Bale or Keaton?
Keaton, yeah.
I'll go Bale again.
Yeah, 54-46. That was very close.
That was close.
And I believe this was a tiebreaker up to the last hour. So I begged and pleaded, please someone vote. And someone did. And for some reason I did, who is Batman? I did Affleck and Bale. I don't know why I did that one.
Who's the best Batman?
Yeah, who is Batman is what I wrote. And it's a picture of Ben Affleck's Batman versus Christian Bale's.
Huh. It was tied up until the last moment.
Oh, no. The Bruce Wayne was. Bale versus Keaton was tied up.
Oh.
Yeah. This was
okay. So
this was a landslide.
Landslide?
Yeah.
It's Bale.
Yeah. 18 Affleck, 82 Bale. Yeah. That was exciting. I was excited. Hey, we got an iTunes review.
That's some comments.
We got.
All right.
Yeah.
We love those, don't we?
Yeah, 5 stars. He writes, great show. I love the show where the boys revisited The Last Jedi. It helps to emotionally work through the movie. Oh, that's nice. I especially like that cousin Kevin. His insights are truly amazing. Alan John should have him on more often. There you go. I can go on and on about cousin Kevin all day, but I digress. Keep him coming, boys. I guess that was cousin
Did I mention cousin Kevin is married? It's either cousin Kevin or his wife.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that's all I got on that one. So we got some polls done. We got some iTunes review. Thank you for the iTunes review. We really, really appreciate it. It really helps. Super helps.
Yeah. Thank you, person who might be cousin Kevin or cousin Kevin's wife. But if you're not, we really do appreciate it. If it wasn't.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, young man?
I think that's it for Batman.
Batman with a gag.
Except I have one question.
What?
I have one question throughout this whole podcast.
What?
And where is the Batman?
What's wrong with you? Gadgets. Batman's got gadgets. I was trying to segue this one, dude. Batman with the gadgets, and we just dropped an 80s gadgets podcast today, so... Or actually, I should say last week by the time it drops.
Check that one out.
Yeah, check that one out. That was fun.
And here's a little spoiler alert for our top 5 weapons of the 80s movie weapons. The Batarang makes my list.
Yeah, it did.
So go listen.
It actually did. Mm-hmm.
It did.
Okay. There we go. There's our own self-plugging. Speaking of plugs, don't we have some podcast shows to plug?
Yeah. We have like 1,000 podcasts. No, we have a few. We have our friends Jay and Pete doing Enter the Nerd Zone. New content every week. Check them out. We are also on a channel with
Hold on, they just did a run on Harry Potter. If you like Harry Potter, they did a run on that.
Oh yes, they're in the middle of that right now. They're doing one movie, one episode per movie.
And they just did the first 2, and they just did a little WWE or some wrestling stuff also. If you're into that stuff.
Yeah, some tag team stuff.
Yeah.
Sure. And then we're also with the 4 of us are on a channel called Stuff You Don't Need to Know, where we post lots of different content. I do a brief movie review called Movie Pass Moment, and a brief podcast on events in American history called Our Story, an American History podcast. And Alan's been doing an Office rewatch where he talks about different episodes. Are you still doing the Marvel thing, or did you finish that up?
I did, and I'm tweaking it a little bit with a little help from Jay from giving some tidbits on it. So I'm gonna rework that one. But I'll continue to do that one. Jay does this cool thing where he does fictional bands. So one of my favorite podcast shows. So he just did Wild Stallions, and he goes over that. And what else? Oh, he does Monday Memories. That's another favorite of mine. I look forward to that on my drive to work Monday mornings. I listen to Jay do that one. And Pete does a cool one for doing sports. I'm waiting for him to do NBA because that's the only sport I understand. So, but right now he's doing this whole thing on the NFL. I listen to it anyway because I'm his pal, but I don't get it. So
I hate to break it to you, Alan, but the middle of the NBA season is a little less exciting than the NFL playoffs, okay? So he's focused on the NFL playoffs right now. Actually, well, tomorrow the conference championship games. Tomorrow we find out who goes to the Super Bowl.
Well, the
tomorrow
Lakers are playing the Knicks tomorrow, and that's more important to me.
This.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, for you and LA, and that's about it. And maybe not even for LA, because you know.
All right. Watching my Knicks.
Right. So, and we've also started branching out and doing. We were doing solo shows, but you just did our first combo show on stuff with Pete, not Pete, with Jay on Black Belt Theater.
Oh yeah, we did Drunken Master, Jackie Chan's Drunken Master. Is that what it's called? Drunken Master.
Yeah. So. Yeah, take a listen for that. I'll be doing something with Jay, and Alan will probably want to be doing something with Pete soon. And so you can hear our wonderful voices on all different topics.
Man, that took 10 minutes. That was a lot.
Yeah, it's just like wonder, when do these guys go to work? Right. Great question.
Okay.
Good question.
We signing out?
I'm done.
All right. Till next time.
Martha. Peace.